Project Zomboid. It's a story of standing on your 2 feet in a world that will continuously push you down. You're forced to survive only to perish again and again. It's unforgiving, and since starting up the game, it tells you its intentions. This is how you died. Project Zomboid is a top-down sandbox survival game. It's not like any other zombie game where you run and gun hordes of zombies. You need to stay safe and diligent, because if you are not, there are consequences. This game plays as if you're the average Joe who had managed themselves into the zombie apocalypse. We don't begin with lethal weapons most of the time to shoot down hordes. The best things we could do is to find the nearest blunt or sharp weapon to bludgeon or stab the nearest walking corpse, as you shove and push it while it progressively inches closer, trying to bite you. Even though Project Zomboid is a sandbox game that allows you to do almost anything for yourself, there is lore placed throughout the game, and most people who play don't even notice. Some things and stories are said through radios or television, slowly unraveling this decaying secret. Rumors are spread that the Spiffos meat had held something that could infect the consumers. If you do not know, Spiffos is the famous restaurant brand that litters the map of Knox County, the place you are surviving inside the base game. Spiffos appears to be the raccoon mascot of Project Zomboid and the in-game fast food restaurant Spiffos. Rumors has it that the Knox virus, the main zombie plague that threatens you throughout the game, has been caused by the meat inside of Spiffos' food, creating their consumers into flesh-consuming zombies. And others believe that the Knox virus had began due to a government experiment gone wrong, having misfired a chemical weapon test. It's known through broadcasts through radio and television that lots of the population had been infected in unknown ways. This might lead the Knox virus to be contagious through the air. The Knox virus's growth could be described as slow, bleeding into society until it guts it from inside out. Sounds familiar. People appear to have been infected without knowing, catching it in the air and living their normal lives while infecting others. After a specific amount of time, the Knox virus clicked. People began cannibalizing each other, turning them into cannibals after one bite. We now learn that the Knox virus becomes transmittable through bodily fluids. Eight days before your journey begins, Knox County's telecommunication takes down phone lines, making phones completely useless. 3 days before your journey begins, Knox County is having a statewide quarantine. The military sets up blockades around the country, making residents panic as nobody can enter nor exit. The day your journey starts, a government official named General John McGrew had stated in 11 a.m. in the July 9th, the day you begin in the game, that the Knox virus is only flu-like and leads to confusion and panic. And General McGrew lies that there are no casualties in what is called the exclusion zone, which is most likely Knox County. This might be the government trying to cover up for their mistake, the Knox virus. Or they just might be trying to quell the outside that isn't inside of Knox County. In the second day of your survival, officials shut down all medical or non-official international and internal flights. Panic ensues with major cities being raided by its inhabitants, while we, as the player, are attempting to survive the Knox County and its undead inhabitants. As the third day shines, the government expands the exclusion zone of Knox County, as infection culls more of the outside population as they turn into more monsters. During the third day, the outside world gets confirmation of something off in the exclusion zone of Knox County, An image from West Point, one of the places that the player can spawn in, of a man with blood on his mouth and corpses littering the street. On the break of day 4, news broadcasts reveal that the Nox virus is spread through exchange of bodily fluids, like saliva and blood. In the primary exclusion camp south of Louisville, in day 5 after your journey had begun, protests break with the military taking lethal action, killing 2 innocents that may have been infected. As warning shots are rung out towards the angry horde of protesters, they were quickly exchanged for a horde of flesh-eating zombies. The military, realizing their inferior defense to the hordes, start retreating from the area. In day 6, people outside of Knox County began showing symptoms of the virus, making the airborne bit of the Knox virus possibly true, while the military began to destroy bridges on the Ohio River, trying to attempt to quell the outbreak. In day 8, the Knox virus had reached Africa and Europe. It's now a worldwide virus. On his final limb, John McGrew, the person who had denied the lethality of Knox virus, had fully detailed the infection and symptoms on television, seeming like a warning to any remaining survivors. John McGrew concludes saying that the people who are currently listening to him speak are unique. They're immune to the airborne virus. The Knox virus, even though being ruthless in being airborne, it has leaks in the system. It's believed that maybe 10% of a population is immune to the airborne version of the Knox virus. It's day 9 now. This is the day where communication is cut completely, as broadcast services are now overrun due to the amount of undead crawling in, causing chaos and loss. As the dying words of the radio flicker out, you're left on your own. You can never hear another soul again other than the groans of the dead. Project Zomboid makes you feel cornered. You need to discover books, recording, radios, and television to learn anything and how to survive its deadly world. You don't magically know how to wield a gun. You don't magically know how to cook, know how to build structures and items. Well, unless you built your character around that. This game simulates you as the average Joe. You're helpless, but only if you choose to be. Learning how to shoot, cook, build helps strengthen your character as you manage your health, temperature, your body weight, and many other valuables to keep in check. Before beginning your journey in Project Zomboid, you're allowed to customize the look of your character and their abilities/characteristics. There are many positive characteristics, like cat eyes, letting you see better in the night, runner, simply letting you run faster, and cook, allowing you to know cooking straight off the bat. With positives come negatives. With having positive traits, you are forced to level the playing field by adding negative traits. Clumsy, making more noise when moving, and pacifist, making you less effective with weapons. Even though I listed a small amount of the positives and negative traits, there are many more traits to choose from. If you don't want to manually pick your good traits, just choose one of the former jobs that have their own traits ready to go for you. These only give you positives, so you have to decide your own negatives. Vehicles are one of many things I adore of Project Zomboid. Even though at times it could be annoying as hell, it's cause it makes you feel stupid when accidentally crashing the car, as one should. Cause if your car hits anything, like in real life, you could possibly severely damage your car's engine and many other things rocking inside that piece of metal. Many other things in Project Zomboid contribute to its amazing immersion, and this brings me to the best things I could talk about for this game. You see, for one to be immersed in a video game, one must hear the video game. Project Zomboid's OST reminds me of Stalker and its inhabitants playing guitar in its desolate world. The guitar soundtracks for this game is just one of my favorites. And is this biased? Yes. But do you know what I'm not biased about because of how genuinely good it is? The wind blowing and the groans of the undead are amazing. If you close your eyes, you genuinely imagine yourself crushing the skulls of the undead by your heels. But being for real, this atmosphere reminds me of Half-Life 2. It's eerie and unnatural. Places that should be filled with people and laughter are then replaced with silence and unnatural noises coming from its unnatural beings that inhabit it. For Half-Life, it's the Combine, littering every single crevice of planet Earth. While in Project Zomboid, it's the hollow noises from empty buildings and the groaning noises from hollow walking corpses. Project Zomboid is a top-down survival sandbox game. It makes you realize that most of us will not survive a zombie apocalypse scenario. Only by sheer chance we will have the opportunity to live. But the game continuously reminds you that when you begin the new journey, that this is how you died.